It's called Africa Express, and it's one of the most bizarre and successful music events of the summer. Over 80 African and Western musicians are touring the country in a specially converted train, stopping off to appear at concerts or free pop-up events in which they mix together to create new music they rehearse on the train. Damon Albarn is on board, along with African stars Rokia Traore and Baba Mal. And they gave Newsnight's Robin Denslow exclusive television access to the journey. He jumped on at Middlesbrough.
This is a tour that breaks all the known rules of the music industry. Over 80 musicians, some very famous, some virtually unknown in Britain but stars in Africa, touring the country in a chartered train in a venture costing £500,000. But there are no headliners, some events are planned at the very last minute, and they decide who's playing what and with whom after non-stop rehearsals on the train itself. One carriage is laid out as a studio, complete with mixing desk and musicians playing from the moment we left Middlesbrough. In this session, guitarist Romeo Stoddart from the Magic Numbers, South African and British Nigerian rappers, and the wildly enthusiastic Damon Albarn, whose other projects this summer were an Elizabethan opera and a Blur reunion. He's been a key figure in all past Africa Express events, from Mali and the Congo to Glastonbury. This train trip is the most ambitious, high-profile outing to date.
Not about anything other than just music and communication, because it isn't a person, it isn't a group of people, it's an idea. Really, the level of musicianship is just, for me, this is the best one. You know, I just think everyone knows what it's about now, so it attracts people who want to participate in that, and that's just amazing. It's a relief for everyone to just be musicians, you know, entirely nothing really sort of getting in the way of just when you want to make music on a day, just make it, you know, whatever it is at that moment. It's just very therapeutic.
Just a few carriages away, there's another impromptu session. This one involving one of Africa's greatest stars, Baba Mal from Senegal, who we found singing with Malians and with Jupiter, the latest celebrity from the Congo.
In this journey, it's not just traditional musicians, it's not classical musicians, it's everyone. Hip-hop, young ones, the famous ones, the less famous ones, all together. The people walk in the behind the scene of the stages of music, together, thinking and traveling together into a very wonderful journey.
This is unlike any music event I've ever been to. None of the artists are being paid, though they do get a small allowance, and they're not here to promote new singles or albums or product. Different musicians from Africa, from Britain, and different age groups are all playing together in unusual combinations, and the aim is to create a positive image for Africa.
Crazy collaborations, the jamming, you know, I mean, we go to so many festivals and you meet so many people, but you hardly ever have a chance to mess around with them, so this is a lot of fun for me.
The best-selling young English hip-hop pop stars, Brizzlekicks, were also clearly having a good time.
It's safe to say it was probably one of the best nights of my life, I reckon.
The best night of your life?
One of them.
One of? Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It was just like, it's kind of, I don't know how to explain, like the amount of like positivity and like musical energy and vibe that was there was just like impossible not to kind of be happy about being part of that experience. And aside of that, we got to share the stage with some musicians that we kind of respect and idolise.
The train has everything from a yoga teacher
Do you want to put Brune in touch with that person? Just
to a meeting room and a luggage wagon.
The thing is, we need to work out who we're taking first.
Ian Birrell, journalist and former David Cameron speechwriter, was involved in raising money for the trip. Around half the cost is paid by the Cultural Olympiad.
There was some planning, because you have to, in order to have chaos, you have to have planning to give the space to the chaos. And you want the artists to feel comfortable and not to be worrying about the hotels and all that sort of stuff. So there has been a lot of planning. I mean, I didn't know where you go to hire a train, for instance.
The first Africa Express jaunt 6 years ago was to the desert state of Mali, a country famous for its ancient culture and for its music. But today, Mali is in chaos after a coup in the capital, and with two-thirds of the country now controlled by Islamic groups wildly opposed to events like this.
No one wants to live under such sort of, you know, semi-medieval sort of ideas. It's just not, you know, it's not acceptable. Personally, I think they're a democracy and they should have a say in their whole country. And if they want to pass it, then they all agree to it together.
Many in the West only know about Mali and its history through the work of its extraordinary musicians like Rocky Traore. And yet music is now banned in parts of the country.
Yes, it's sad. It's really sad. And I don't want to... But I can do nothing against that. The only thing I can do is to keep going on working, doing the best way my work, and trying to make people thinking good things of Mali and seeing good things from Mali.
Many in the West were introduced to Malian music through the singing and playing of Amadou Bakayoko, of the blind duo Amadou and Mariam. Through Africa Express, Amadou has become friends with Romeo Stoddart. They have guitar playing, but no language in common.
It
works well. It's a great pleasure sharing music. The fact that we are two guitarists playing together is enriching.
I say Amadou, it's Romeo, and then he's like Saba, and then we're off. We're like, right, who do we get? Like in Leeds, we were in a room 2 hours just playing, and then there's a kind of, you know, it's talking, yeah, you let someone have the chance to play, and then, you know, you say, hey, go for it, and, you know, I don't know, it's something unique.
In Glasgow, many of the musicians appeared at a series of free pop-up events across the city, with Amadou and Romeo playing at very short notice to school children out in Easterhouse. So what did you think of that?
It was different.
What do you make of that?
That was quite good,
Quite good. So what was good about it?
I liked the drums.
The drums. Do you ever see stuff like this at Easterhouse?
No. But we have some like parties, like about our country and stuff, and we play this kind of music in some parties.
And the full cast appeared for a 4.5-hour concert at the Arches under Glasgow Central Station, with Damon and Rocky Traore joining together for Melancholy Hill. When it comes to record sales, the music industry is in crisis. The Africa Express proves that there's nothing as exciting or successful as great live music and the unexpected. We're in Bristol tomorrow, and there's a special finale near King's Cross Station, London, on Saturday.
Robin Denzo with the Africa Express.